Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back. I feel like I stole this thing. I didn't. I got this at Hock and Save in North Bay. They wanted $179, and it's retails new for about $600. And I'm like, wow, $179? That's a pretty good steal. But I didn't even pay that. I gave him one $150. I asked the owner, I says, well, you give me a better deal? I mean, I'm kind of pushing it, you know. I mean, I know the thing's worth $180. I'm just trying to save a few bucks. He says, well, what do you give me for it? I says, how about $150 in tax? He said, done. I said, cool, here you go. Take my money, swipe my card. Bye-bye. Specs on this thing. We got 8 gigs of DDR4, 3200 megahertz RAM. We have an 11th generation i3 at 2 gigahertz quad core. Windows 11 Home 64-bit, the newest version of it. 8 gigs of RAM, 256 gig M.2 SSD drive in it, which is, both of them are upgradable. I have no idea how much RAM this thing can go to. I have to look further into that yet. But definitely the SSD, I could easily put in a 1 terabyte, 2 terabyte drive, but anyway, we're not going there. Wi-Fi 6 AX201, Bluetooth 5.2, 2 USB 5 gigabit ports, 1 USB-C 5 gigabit port, HDMI 1.46. That's kind of old school, but hey, it's a basic machine, right? Estimated battery life, if you're in energy saving mode, is about 9 hours and 45 minutes. Now, I set my PCs up and my Macs to run full bore. I don't like any of this energy saving garbage. I don't care if it's a laptop. I'm not that interested in making a battery last all freaking day. And though I do have a gamer laptop, I needed another computer like I need another hole in the head. You know what I mean? It just, I really don't need it, but the thing is I don't want to sit my gamer laptop on my lap on my lazy boy chair. For one, I block all the vents and the fans, which would make it overheat. Two, I'm not willing to change my battery settings for, you know, just having it on battery and running low performance, because, yeah, I don't need to sit there for 9 hours. And besides, I think I only get about maybe 6 hours of runtime in energy saving mode on that laptop. It's a high horsepower machine. It really is beefed. This thing, on the other hand, in energy saver mode, gets you about 9 hours and 45 minutes. So with all that stuff running full performance, top end all the time, I'll probably see about half of that. And besides, the only time I open the lid is to check my email, my Facebook, you know, YouTube, just when I'm sitting in the lazy boy watching TV. Which brings us to the next point. I don't need to upgrade the RAM in this thing at this point. I mean, whenever Windows 12 comes out, or whatever they're going to call it next, if that chews up enough RAM that I need to be concerned, well, at that point, then maybe I'll chalk her up to 16 gigs, you know, or whatever I can do for it. But otherwise, in the meantime, I don't need to worry about it. It's fine with 8 gigs of RAM. This thing is frigging fast. You know, I'm actually quite impressed, and I'm on Wi-Fi. Mind you, we do have a super fast internet connection, so that really does help too. But, you know, I mean, it just boom, boom. It's like instant, you know. Like Long McQuaid. You know, I mean, Edge is pretty quick. Chrome is pretty quick too, mind you. We do have a webcam that's 720p, not the highest megapixel rating. Now the camera is kind of blinding it right now a bit with the camera light, but it's a decent picture. You know, it's actually not bad. So can't really complain there. Array microphones in this thing. Beautiful 14-inch 1080p display as well. That is really nice. I really like that. But just even overall site surfing and stuff, it's fine. You know, now there is no Ethernet port, but who the heck needs one? Besides, if I do, I've got a Type-C to Ethernet adapter. I could go into the Ethernet if I wanted to, but the Wi-Fi on this thing is friggin' nuts. It's great. So no complaints there. Battery health is 100%. HP has a lot of diagnostics testing software that they give you access to through their programs. Because you get My HP, and then you get the support assistant, and which is where you'll also find more drivers. Now, if you do end up buying one of these things, when you go to the newest version of, I think it's 22H2 or something of 11, go back up to the HP support tools and do a driver's check specific for that version of Windows 11. You're going to find there's a bunch of updated drivers that you're going to need. I mean, otherwise it is going to tell you by the time you do your updates that you're up to date, but that's up to date. That's not HP up to date. That's a little different, okay? So you need to go get those drivers. Just use the support assistant tool and have it just download and automatically install, and you're ready to rock and roll. Anyway, so I've got my Ookla speed tester in here. I got my camera thing down here. I got Chrome installed because that's my preferred browser anyways. The HP stuff, Microsoft Store, that sort of thing. I haven't done a speed check on the drive, and to be honest, I really don't care. This thing boots so fast that I don't even get a chance to get on my seat after I hit the power button and it's ready to log in. So it's a pretty snappy little machine. And for $150 in perfect condition, the fingerprint ID thing is here too. It's like this little square cutout. I thought maybe that was like a 3D sticker that somebody pulled off. Nope, it's not. That's your fingerprint ID scanner. Stereo speakers in it. I mean, they're not the greatest sounding. It's a laptop, right? So you want better sound, plug in some headphones or external speakers, whatever you're going to do. I do have a Bluetooth mouse hooked up. Only because I hate trackpads, but when I'm sitting on the Lazy Boy, I'm going to need to use a trackpad, which is fine. Not a big deal. Now, the one thing I don't like is a lot of companies, and I talked to Staples about this today, because I'm like, what's with the dual frickin' language keyboard here? Like, it's French and English. He says, well, you know, pretty much everybody's going to that in most of their models, and it's plain to see, because if you look, you know, next to one of these things and you'll see a Lenovo there that, you know, costs far more money, it's pure English keyboard. It's like, fantastic, this is French and English. And it's like, I ain't French. I don't even speak the lingo anymore, right? I can still understand some of it, but I don't speak it anymore. I can cuss in probably about 5 different languages. So that's the only thing I really can say I don't like about it, is the friggin' dual language keyboard. But at least it doesn't screw you up, so you're okay there. The one thing it doesn't have is face recognition. It's not supported on this one, which I don't really care. It doesn't bother me any, you know. But it supports everything else, so not bad. So it definitely has that TPM chip in it and all that other jazz. I mean, even my last HP that I won that was like really low end, that thing had a TPM chip in it, and so it was fine for Windows 11. So this one I'm definitely going to be keeping. For a quad core at 2 gigahertz, like I said, this thing's pretty friggin' snappy. I'm pretty impressed. And like I said, for what I need it, I'm going to use it for. I don't see any reason to upgrade the drive. I don't see any reason to even think about upgrading the RAM at this point. It's got plenty for doing everything that I need to do, so we're good to go there. So if you're looking for a laptop that's really snappy and good for, you know, basic stuff, do your streaming, do your Netflix, do your YouTube watching, surf the internet, you know, the usual just basic stuff that basic people do. 8x256, that's pretty good, and lots of processing power too. Now, in a $600 laptop, you're probably kind of thinking, well, that's quite a bit of money. Well, yeah, well, prices are going up, inflation, right? What do you want? But at least it's got a lot of good ports on it. It even has an SD card reader on the side. And it's like, wow, that's fantastic too. I really like that. Now, I'm going to tell you this, take it for what it's worth, okay? But you could easily do, I don't know, some video editing on this thing. It's going to be slow. you got to realize it's going to be slow, right? But it could definitely handle 720p and 1080p footage. Nothing higher than that though. And it's still going to take a while before it can even export the thing. But at least you could do that sort of thing. It's just going to be very time consuming. Even if you upgraded the RAM to wherever it maxes at, which we'll have to find out yet, it's still not going to help you out much, okay? It's going to be very light duty for video editing. And I definitely wouldn't suggest trying to run your recording studio off this thing, because that's just not a happening thing, okay? Now there are some games, if you wanted to run games, Need for Speed Undercover would more than work on this thing. Far Cry 1 Original would definitely run. Some of your older games would run. There are some new games that you can get from, what's it called, like Game Top or something, I think I deal with. You get free games. A lot of those games would run on this thing just fine, even some of the 3D stuff, because they're just not demanding games, right? So you could do that, you know, that sort of thing, right? So it does have some flexibility and usability beyond, but you know, at that point, if you're going to do any kind of video gaming, I'd definitely upgrade the RAM in the thing, at least to 16 gigs. Give yourself a fair shot at actually playing properly without getting, you know, choked out and farting all the time. But otherwise, yeah, I think it's a pretty good little system. So I definitely have to give this one a 4.5 out of 5, and not because I only paid $150 for a pristine perfect laptop that's only a year old. And I kid you not, the warranty was activated December 8th of 2021. So it's only like just a year and not quite even 2 months old yet. So that's pretty good. I don't know who pawned this thing, and I don't really care, but they should have kept their laptop, because this is a pretty good laptop. But their loss, my gain. I like it, and I only paid $150, so I'm really stoked happy about that. That was a fantastic deal. Anyways, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Now, if you got this model, let me know too what you really think about it and how far you've pushed it. And like I said, this is identical in the same chassis and everything to the last one that I had that was like a 1.1 gigahertz. So I'm well versed on how to take this thing apart. But like I said, I don't really want to take it apart unless I have to, and that's only going to be to upgrade the RAM. Otherwise, I see no reason to pull it apart. And like I said, at this time, I'm not upgrading the RAM because I don't see any reason why I should. It's running fabulous, so I'm going to kind of leave it alone. It's kind of like this thing goes. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. If it's running perfect, leave it alone. I do want to learn more about their fingerprint ID thing and how that's going to work, because it definitely doesn't help me for signing into my sign-in screen. So, you know, it's kind of like, well, what do I do it for? We'll have to figure that out. It's a Windows thing. Apple works a little bit different, but this is also different. Anyhow, so yeah, that's pretty much about it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I guess we'll just have to go from there, and over time I'll have an update review for you guys, let you know how things are going with it, because you know how Windows is like. You get an update every 3 days for something. Well, this was doing its updates. I just had updates finished yesterday. I think it was yesterday or the day before on my gamer laptop, and you know, I went to check on it after I was done this thing. Oh yeah, you got to restart. We got more updates to put in. I'm like, gee, come on. Apple doesn't do it that bad to us. It's like every 3 days it seems I'm getting up Windows 11 updates. Anyway, there you go. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one.